Hi, guys. Laura Haviland here. Thanks for joining the Laura Haviland podcast. I wanted to talk to you guys about toxic stress and part of the reason why we really struggle with communicating with our co parent. So, I was just working with a family where we were trying to figure out why their communication protocol broke down. And when I met individually with the parents, it's clear to me that they are having a limbic brain response to even seeing a message from their co parent. What is a limbic brain response? Well, let's talk about stress in general. What is toxic stress? And so, what I want to share with you guys is that there's different levels of stress, and some may be positive. We have positive stress. So, for example, if you're going to the gym in the morning and you have brief increases in your heart rate, or you have intensified focus, you have a mild elevation in levels of stress hormones, that can be positive. That can be really good for us. And then we also have something that's tolerable. You've got to study for that midterm. It's serious but temporary stress response, and it's usually mitigated by a positive or buffering influence or relationships. So that's going to be the, hey, something's going on in my life. I've got a job transition, or I'm moving, and it's really stressful to me right now. However, I'm going to make it through. I've got friends. I've got a support network that's going to help me get through this. Toxic stress is intense, prolonged. It activates a stress response system without any positive influence or buffering relationships. And that's going to be where either you, the parent, or your kids are experiencing really, really toxic stress. You've got that cortisol just pumping through the body all the time. And that's the stress we want to avoid, or at least get a really good support network to help us manage. When you are communicating with your co-parent, it's really important that you are trying to reduce the stress experienced by your child. So kids oftentimes may not see their parents openly fighting, but they know when their parents are not getting along. They know when their parents are in conflict. And so, what we want to do when we're improving communication is help reduce the toxic stress that our kids are feeling from that parental conflict. And one of the ways that we can do that is by just addressing when you are feeling this toxic level of stress. Recognize, hey, what am I feeling? Am I wanting to run away? That's the flight mechanism talking. I'm going to run, hide, quit. Usually the emotion is I'm in denial or I'm anxious. And the outcome is you're evading or you're sabotaging a situation. So your co-parent sends you a message and you totally disengage. You totally don't respond. You go into that flight mode. Fight, combative, confrontational, attacking. Usually we're using conclusions here instead of our curiosity brain. We're saying they are narcissistic, they are controlling, they are, et cetera, et cetera. Usually it involves the intense emotional response of anger or irritability. We insult, we blame, or we mistreat our co-parent. There's also the freeze, where you just want it to all go away. You freeze, you totally comply with anything that your co-parent wants. You surrender. This is also a shutdown. You feel numb and you just are detached. So that's not healthy either, because a good co-parenting relationship has a give and take. It doesn't have one parent controlling and the other parent freezing. What we really want in terms of engagement is facing. The green light is facing. The response is a challenge. We're calm, we're grounded, we're alert, engaged, and decisive. And so, how does that happen? How do we face it? Well, we're engaging our prefrontal cortex. That is the part of our brain that is not completely developed until really the age of 25. But that's the part of our brain that can manage empathy, insight, rational thinking. It's response flexibility. It's got our emotional regulation, our body regulation. That's the part of our brain that has intuition. We have attuned communication, and we're able to modulate fear when we engage our prefrontal cortex. The limbic brain is the fight, flight, freeze, or stress response. It's really a part of our oldest technology as human beings, and it asks us to please keep us safe. So the brain, or the limbic brain, thinks, am I safe? Do people want me? And definitely emotions live there. So when you're communicating with your co-parent, we want to be in a place where we're engaging that prefrontal cortex. We're not working out of our limbic fight, flight, or freeze mode. We're really facing the problems head on. And the best way to do that is to take a few deep breaths. Give yourself a time limit. If you are that person that's engaging immediately, take a break, walk away, do some activity that calms you, whether that's breathing exercise, yoga, meditation, or even just drinking a glass of water. And then, or if you're typing that email, delete the email and start over, or don't allow yourself to hit send. And then if you're that avoidant response, then you want to give yourself a time limit. I have to respond by 2:00 today. I'm going to write this, or maybe I'll even phone a friend or a professional to come help me write this, but I am going to respond by a particular time. I'm not going to stick my head in the sand. I'm going to face and engage this communication with my co-parent. So just being aware of how you are responding is half the battle. If you are feeling that you are stressed, or you've got a high level of toxic stress when communicating, become aware of it. Ask yourself, what is my initial response? Is it to walk away, run away, to freeze? What is it? And then give yourself some sort of structure so that you can face and engage your co-parent in that communication. Thanks, guys, so much for tuning in. I hope to see you soon.